So, how about that trailer for the crossover between Shin Megami Tensei and Fire Emblem, eh? Totally what you would expect when you hear those two series colliding in a crossover. Okay. Obviously what we got from the trailer is not what one would expect from a Fire Emblem and Shin Megami Tensei crossover. But let's get down to discussing about the trailer, shall we? Now, let's first address the elephant in the room, i.e. what everybody is complaining about in terms of seeing the trailer. This doesn't feel like Shin Megami Tensei and a Fire Emblem crossover. Well, from what we see in the trailer. The trailer does certainly paint the game in such a way that it does feel like it's more of a Persona and Fire Emblem crossover, with a heavy influence on the Persona side. I mean, the visual style just says Persona, with there being barely any Fire Emblem aspect in the trailer outside of some designs being influenced in the art style. There's some designs that you can easily tell do come from Fire Emblem, but there are also some that are harder to tell. But overall, the Persona-esque influence is really easy to tell when you see that the game is supposedly using a turn-based combat system for its combat rather than a strategy role-playing game format, as well as seeing some form of the press turn system. Well, that's just me speculating from seeing the combat and seeing the word weak appearing when one of the characters attacks an enemy. Though even with the press turn system, that's not going to say that Fire Emblem won't have influence in its combat, since it does seem like it might have a class system of sorts from the icons you see next to the character portraits during the combat screens. But overall, the point still stands that this crossover does seem to be heavily influenced from Persona rather than Shin Megami Tensei or Fire Emblem, which is the two series we thought this game was going to be all about. As for my thoughts on this, it is certainly disappointing that Shin Megami Tensei and Fire Emblem doesn't seem to have more influence in this crossover, well, from this trailer, especially so since there is barely any Shin Megami Tensei and Fire Emblem influences in the trailer. And this game was initially built up as a crossover between the two series. But even still, I am hopeful that Fire Emblem will have a stronger presence in this crossover in the end product. As for why I'm still hopeful that this crossover will have a strong Fire Emblem presence, it's mostly because we do see there is already some influences on the combat system from what I've discussed before. But also, well, this is the first trailer, so I think it's a bit too early to just judge it right now. And also, in an interview with Shinjiro Takada, an individual who worked on the Devil Survivor games and is working on this crossover, he does say that the Fire Emblem aspect of the crossover will be made more clear as they release more information pertaining this crossover in the future. Now, on the other side of the spectrum, it is unfortunate to see that Shin Megami Tensei might not have much influence in this crossover. There might be some from the post-apocalyptic city we see in the trailer, so I'm still a bit hopeful. But overall, I can understand why the Shin Megami Tensei fans are a bit pissed, mostly because they were expecting more Shin Megami Tensei in this crossover. Though it does joke like that this crossover is getting a name change, which is called, I think, Jinai Ibiroku # Fire Emblem? Not sure what the hashtag stands for though, but yeah, there you go, the new title. And I probably mispronounced the name as well. And all in all, I'm still excited for this game. It's not the crossover I expected, but there are a lot of aspects that do interest me. I am interested in the combat system and how they integrate the press turn system with a Fire Emblem-esque class system. I am interested in the story and characters of this game, since the theme is supposedly about realistic characters who suffer from many conflicts and worries in modern day Japan, which isn't really delved much in video game stories. I do know that I did got that information from the interview with Shinjiro Takada. And lastly, this game is being made by Atlus, and I have confidence in Atlus. Anyway, that's my thoughts in the trailer. Hope you enjoy this video, and feel free to share your thoughts on the trailer in the comment section.